Welcome once again to another edition of Emerald Downs Weekly, right here from beautiful Emerald Downs. That's a live shot of the paddock behind us, and no activity now, but last weekend, this weekend, lots of activity at Emerald Downs. Joe Withey along with Gary Doherty and Phil Ziegler. Fellas, got more to look forward to this weekend. A lot of great racing. Washington Cup starting, but promotion-wise, let's just touch on that, Gary.
Yeah, Saturday night, $1 beers in the park. End of the summer party.
Nice.
Phil, I think I'll be out there for a while. $1 beers. The Corvettes are coming out from the Tacoma Corvette Club. Food specials, barbecue specials, some live music. Well, actually, DJ Trent Vaughn will be out in the park.
That's right.
Racing begins at 5 o'clock. Should be a fun Saturday night. Sunday, we can't wait for Sunday, Italian Day, with the pizza eating contest and the Goombas. Phil, one of your favorite bands are coming out.
Tony La Stella, right? And the Goombas, and that's always a lot of fun. And pizza eating contest, and you talked about Saturday night in the park. Great food, but let's face it, dollar beers, folks. People have been calling us because we did it a couple times last year. When are you going to have dollar beers? That's this Saturday night, only in the park. You got to go out into the park to get your dollar beers on Saturday, post time 5 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun, and a lot of folks having a good time out there betting the horses.
Yeah, we'll have a few people out in the park.
I think so.
This particular Saturday.
Right. Keep an eye on Gary.
Okay, well, that's security's job, I think. All right, well, that's a nice lineup. Saturday, the Party in the Park. Sunday, Italian Day. And we have the Washington Cup starting on Sunday as well. We're going to have more about that coming up. Last weekend, we had some milestones achieved and some just outstanding racing. Gary's going to talk a little bit about the handicapping contest, but let's head back to Friday night and the first race. This was a real close one. Trainer Jose Navarro, owner Big Bill, and his buddies were involved in this. That's Dr. Bruce S. trying to win at a mile. Bernie, stablemate, coming up next door. And that was a close one. Bernie was stalking that entire trip, and he got up over stablemate. So Jose Navarro runs 1-2. Big Bill, part of both horses, Big Bill Nicklaus, so congratulations there. Tight race to start the week.
He didn't have to sweat out that photo.
No.
He was going to win either way.
I wonder, what his thoughts were coming down the stretch there. All right, let's move forward on Friday night to the fourth race and take a look at this one. This was the upsetter of the evening. Color of Money came from off the pace to get up at 17-1. That ended the early pick four, started the late pick four. Robbie Baez's horses have been running quite a bit better the last few weeks. That was a winner for Robbie and Juan Gutierrez aboard. Pick four paid $683, mostly due to Color of Money. And race number 5, how about that on Friday night? Let's just keep moving along here. This horse has a great record. This is a 2 putts for the win horse, as we know, Brahms Forest. And it was a back-to-back double for the 2 putts to the win. Brahms Forest is now what at the meet? 7 starts, 4 wins in 2 seconds. That's been a great addition to Frank Lucarelli's barn. The leading barn of Frank Lucarelli. Javier Matias up.
Yeah, it's always a happy winner's circle when any of the 2 putts for the win groups get in there.
They've got a lot of owners and a lot of friends.
Yes, they do.
I think even Bob Frazier,
he's part of that one.
Bob Frazier, our director of operations, right.
Yep.
Part owner of Brahms Forest. And then our Friday night feature race, 2 putts for the win, right there front and center again. Let's hear from Tom Harris.
With a final furlong to go, City Steel continues to gain in third, but Wine at 9 is responding at the inside and open clear by 3 now. Wine at 9 and Javier Matias go on to win it by 3.5.
Wine at 9, third win at the meeting. He won 3 here last year. He won 6 in 2017, claimer of the meeting. And that was win number 16 at Emerald Downs. He's number 2 among active horses behind Mike Mann's Gold as he won over Kalex there, who ran a tough race. But Wine at 9, I mean, this is becoming an important claiming horse in this track's history.
And he wins at all different distances as well. I think his last one before this was 1 turn, and this was 2 turns, if I remember that correctly. Right. And Dean Mazuka and his group Wine at 9, as Dean says. They look forward to watching that horse run every time. He always puts in a good effort.
Yeah,
And
12
he
wins.
earned that race. 24 half and 46, three quarters and 110, 136 for a mile. I mean, that's some good racehorse times, and he kept on going. He gets a big lead like that. He just puts his head down and runs the wire, and he's on top.
16 wins, 12 of his wins in the last 3 seasons at Emerald Downs. You're probably wondering how old is Wine at 9. Well, he's a 7-year-old, as opposed to Mike Mann's Gold being a 9-year-old. They're numbers 1 and 2, with Mike Mann's on top at, of course, 21 among active horses. And Mike Mann's Gold looking, of course, to break that all-time career Emerald Downs tie with West Seattle Boy. Okay, what else are we doing on this show today? Are we going to go to break right now? That seems a little bit early. Let's take a break and we'll come back. More racing. We race Saturday and Sunday as well. We'll talk about that and much more here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our regular schedule at Emerald Downs as August turns to September already. Yeah.
4 weeks to go.
Yeah, that's right. 3 weeks of the Washington Cup coming up, 3 Sundays. Let's head back to last Saturday here at Emerald Downs, and we had some great action on the track. Let's go right to that second race. And this is a maiden win for trainer Chris Stensley. I'm going to bring this up again. I said that Chris Stensley would have 10 maiden wins this year. This is a tight one. This is Mila Delights narrowly gets her maiden victory, a 2-year-old filly by Boisterous. Kevin Orozco aboard for Jody Pete's One Horse Will Do Corporation and trainer Chris Stensley. And that was maiden win number 8 for Stensley. Yeah. I should know who has the most maiden wins at the meeting as far as trainers. That might be it. Luke Relly has so many claiming horses that have come to town from Northern California.
I think you're right, Joe.
But and Blaine Wright and Steve Bullock have a number of maiden wins as well. But we'll figure that out before the end of the season. We got time. Let's go on to race number 4 Saturday at the track. And this one was an eventful finish. We had a number of horses coming down to the wire. But this was win number 999 for jockey Kevin Krieger, who came here the first week of August. He gets up between horses there on that gray son of Preaching at the Bar. And the Krieger Watch for 1,000 was on this past week as trainer Frank Lucarelli got his 1,000th win at Emerald Downs. That was Krieger's 999th career-wise. We didn't have to wait long for him to get win number 1,000. And let's hear from Tom Harris here in race number 5.
Final furlong remains. I Double Dare You out clear by 3.5. Hattercop launching a late bid, 70 yards for home. And Kevin Krieger well on his way to win number 1,000. And he's done it on I Double Dare You.
Yeah, he put that mare on the lead. That was the only female runner in the race. And Kevin put her right on the lead, and she dominated, as you saw. Win number 1,000 for Kevin Krieger. And Gary, you probably have an idea how many he's got at Emerald Downs.
Well, I know he got his first one ever in 2001. That's when he started riding August of 01 at Thistledown.
Okay.
Here, he's, 1 or 2 riding titles at Emerald Downs?
One title.
Probably, I guess, 300-400 wins here at Emerald Downs?
That's pretty darn good, yeah. 363 at Emerald
363.
Downs for Kevin Krieger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course he rode in the Kentucky Derby aboard Golden Sense a few years ago. And Phil, you're seeing him basically for the first time, but you can see that talent on display with him, can't you?
Yeah, he seems to put his horses in the right spot all the time. And he got in here and his sense of pace, and he's definitely winning. And it was interesting when you interviewed him after win number 1,000, you reminded him of the day that he won 5 in a row out here. I don't know what year that was, but he's one of 2 guys to do it in the track's history.
Yep.
And you were kind of foreshadowing what almost happened again, as we're going to see.
Let's take a look at the feature on Saturday, and Tom Harris once again calls this one.
Vicente Shadow kicks on late for the final furlong. At the inside, Tumac Mountain. From the outside, Vicente Shadow. Mixo still right there, and Bullet Drill's coming on as well. 50 yards for home. Vicente Shadow just in front. Vicente Shadow, one in a neck.
Vicente Shadow. That is Kevin Krieger in between over Bullet Drill. Tumac Mountain on the inside got third, but Kevin Krieger won the fourth. The fifth was his 1,000th aboard I Double Dare You. Then he won the sixth, Bounty Hunter, and he won the seventh with Vicente Shadow. So
for Satchel Stevens?
That's right. Satchel Stevens' first win at Emerald Downs as a trainer.
Yeah.
He was very happy himself. He's part of the Gary and Scott Stevens family from Idaho.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, he is. And so Kevin had won 4 in a row. We went into the 8th and final. He was aboard number 1, Valid Prince, with a chance to get 5 straight at Emerald Downs. He gave the horse a great ride.
Looked like he was going to get it right there.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
But Arturo Arboleda dominated this race. First and third, 95-year-old trainer Arturo Arboleda. There's the winner at Cat's Gulch at 20-1 with Jose Zanino. And Arturo also had Ragazzi Cat, who Arturo himself felt that horse had a little better chance to
Notice
win.
Where was Arturo?
Not in the winner's circle. Arturo was paying so much attention to Ragazzi Cat running third. He was kind of happy with that. He turned around and left and went home. Didn't realize that his other horse, Cat's Gulch, had actually come on the outside and won that race at long odds. And surprised him the next day when he came in, and we told him, hey, you won that race. So he got excited about that. 95 years old, and he's running first and third.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
He's
great trainer.
Winning races again this year.
That keyed a pick 5 carryover,
Yes.
didn't it?
That's
Much?
right. We had a pick 5 $11,000 carryover for Sunday, and Kevin Krieger a close fourth on Valid Prince, so he didn't achieve that 5 consecutive wins on one card. He was the first to do it at Emerald Downs in 2010. Leslie Mowing also did that in 2014, and jockeys like Ricky Frazier, Rocco Bowen, Juan Gutierrez, and Kevin Krieger again have won 4 consecutive races on one card. Consecutive. Okay, Sunday. We need to talk about that day, and let's go right to the first race on Sunday. And because this was one of our 3/4 horse stakes, and the title of this one, we had so many of them. This was the Emerald Downs Distance Challenge. It started at 870 yards before the turn, and let's watch the finish here with Tom Harris making the call.
CM Once in a Blue Moon comes off the turn, length and a half to the good. At the inside, El Bardi Bonnie Lee trying to rally. He's a gamer in the chase as well. 200 yards to the finish. CM Once in a Blue Moon shows the way. El Bardi Bonnie Lee chasing, and he's a gamer, but it's going to be CM Once in a Blue Moon home in front by 3 to win it.
3-length win in a quarter horse race is quite the margin, but again, this was 870 yards, and that was the favorite. In fact, I think favorites ran 1, 2, 3 in order there. Javier Matias up for Nick Lowe. CM Once in a Blue Moon takes the Emerald Downs Distance Challenge. The second race was a much shorter quarter horse race at 350 yards. This was the John Deere Juvenile Challenge, 2-year-olds, and of course there were some fillies mixed in. Let's hear the call of that race.
And runners away in the juvenile. Senior Frogs leaps to the front. Foose's Flyer right there in the chase. Along the outside, Thrill of the Cartel comes charging late. John Carter Cash is there. Mad dash to the finish. Senior Frogs the inside. Thrill of the Cartel coming on. Thrill of the Cartel may have got the nose down.
That's what happened. Thrill of the Cartel first. Jesus Canales aboard for trainer Mark Hansen, who would have a pretty good Sunday. We'll have more about that in a moment. And we did have a DQ from that race. John Carter Cash, the 6-horse, broke inward a bit, and the 4-horse broke out, kind of compromised the 5-horse there.
Compromised.
It was
That's a
one
nice
flying
nice way to put it. Compromised.
Compromised his chances
Pretty much took away his chances.
in the 350-yard race.
Yeah, not much time to recover, and actually the 5-horse ran decently, and it was a disqualification from second.
The 5-horse, I believe, One Flying Foo is officially 4th
Yes.
after the DQ. Okay, so we started off the day with a couple of quarter horse races. Let's go right on to the third race here on Sunday. And this General Mach 4, he's putting in a strong bid for claimer of the meeting in this race here. He became the first horse to win 5 races at the meeting.
Yeah, he was very
favorite.
impressive. He's been rolling. And they bet him down to 1-5, and he did not disappoint.
And he was probably overlooked a bit in the handicapping contest because of those low odds, but we'll get more from Gary on that.
I did the Trifecta King scored that race. I used him on top to 4 horses, and 2 long shots ran second and third. Well, Phil, I guess they're all long shots.
What kind of a payoff did you get?
It paid $37 for 50 cents.
That's not bad.
And I had 4 of them.
That's
$2,
not bad.
yeah.
The Trifecta King scored Sunday?
Yeah.
All right, I didn't. That went by me there.
You didn't hear the crowd give a big roar after the race?
Gary was stuck upstairs in the handicapping contest, so he couldn't come downstairs and gloat.
No.
So he's gloating here on the show.
Well, that's when you win, you win. Race 7 also had a horse that's having a really good season. On the inside, that's Das Bear. And Das Bear going 5.5 is super tough. Well, let's face it, he had 4 wins at the meeting already, and he's going to win another one. He just can go hard for 5.5, and he's now 7 for 13 lifetime. 5 wins at the meeting for Das Bear, who is a Washington bred by Attaboy Roy. So General Mach 4, Das Bear, 5 wins at the meeting. They're the leaders in that category. And, of course, claimer of the meeting is a valued
Those
honor.
2 are both trained by George Rosales now.
George having an outstanding season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the feature race of the week was the Bank of America Challenge, and that was over $61,000 in value, and a field of 10 at 440 yards. The build-up and the matchup was great. We had a couple fillies in there. CM Boom Shakalaka had won one of the trials. He was number 5. Love to Reason BR on the rail. She was one of the trial winners as well. On the outside, Cool Odds, he was second in this race last year. Should we watch?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do it.
And runners away. Good start towards the outside. 4 Sweet Jess got away alertly. CM Boom Shakalaka, center of the course. El Bardi Razzle Dazzle on the go, and Favorite Bling is right there. 1 off the rail comes Wagon Full of Dividends. Extreme outside, Cool Odds rolling as well. Mad Dash to the finish. 4 Sweet Jess on the outside. Cool Odds very close at the line.
Cool Odds closed ground. According to Nakia Ramirez, who was aboard, he had maybe 3/4 of a length to make up halfway through the race. He did it on the outside. Trainer Mark Hansen from Idaho. Also, part owner Robin Dunn. Cool Odds gets the big prize at the Bank of America, coming from off the pace to run down long shot. 4 Sweet Jess and favored CM Boom Shakalaka was third. So,
Mark Hansen won twice, 2
He
races,
did,
2 of the 3.
He won the John Deere as well. So
Worth the trip.
Good weekend for the Idaho. And the handicapping contest was Sunday up on the 5th floor. Gary, you were presiding over that. Tell us what happened.
We used races from here, Emerald Downs, 10 races, Golden Gate and Del Mar. We had 74 entrants. They all bet $2 to win in place on 10 races, 5 in Emerald Downs, other 5 in California. And Mike Fuller, 2,000 in prizes. He won $1,000 when he had 4 winners, including winners at Del Mar of 11-1 and 9-1.
Wow.
And 2 at Emerald Downs at 7-2 and 9-2. So congrats to Mike Fuller for, I think he amassed $102 from his 10 $2 win place bets. So great job, and we had lots of fun up there, and we played down to 4 spots, so 2,000 in prizes. And the winner again was Mike Fuller.
Mike Fuller gets the prize in the handicapping contest. It was a $40 buy-in, and as Gary mentioned, he got to keep what he won on his win place wagers, plus that $1,000 for first prize. Okay, we're going to come back with more on this coming weekend, this week, and some stats and videos, and we do that kind of stuff on this show. So stay with us here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Phil, can I get a seat at the pizza eating contest this year?
You want? You know, you can. Let's let you. You can eat. You want to be in it? You can't win the prize, but you can be in it.
Think about it.
Let's do it.
Oh, he'll take you up on that in a second.
Yeah, let's do it. You asked, you got
Cirilli's
it.
Pizza.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll let you be the guest eater.
Emerald Downs Racing coming up this weekend. First race on Friday night at 6:30, Saturday at 5, and Sunday at 2. And we're going to have the second leg in the Equal Pay Horseman Helping Horseman Marathon Series. That is this Friday at the track. Jody Peets has done a lot in helping this marathon series go, Phil. She raised a lot of money last year to get it going. It came back this year, and then at the end, or getting close to deadline, I should say, she put in some money to fund the filly and mare division of the marathon series.
Yeah, when did she announce that, Joe?
That was a little bit of a surprise. Late, it was probably late July, but nonetheless.
Sitting right here.
Yeah.
You were talking to her during in between races, and she just says, you know what? Let's do a series for the fillies and mares, and she volunteered to put in the money, and a mile and a quarter, right?
$25,000. The second leg, is at a mile and a quarter. It's Friday night here at Emerald Downs. And the first leg was won by Peach of a Pie. I just gave it away. We can take a look at that race. That one was on August 9th at a mile and an eighth. Look at this battle among fillies and mares going a mile and an eighth. It was an 8-horse field. And Jody Peets' horse, One Horse Will Do, is going to get up right on the outside there over Choteau and Constant Craving. So Jody put some money in, got some money back there. Chris Stensley, also part owner of Peach of a Pie. So there they are in the winner's circle.
So the same 8 are coming back, right? All the same horses.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to run in the first leg to be eligible for the second. And that's the same criteria for the Horseman Helping Horseman Open Marathon Division. And they're going to be in action on Saturday as well. And
how many in the girls' race changed hands after that first race? How many claims are in?
I know there was at least 4.
I think 4,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
4.
Yeah.
A lot of different claims for each of those horses.
Right.
And it's a mile and a quarter, so it's a rare chance this weekend to see these horses start in the quarter chute, come all the way down, basically the same distance we saw in that quarter horse race.
Yeah.
They come all the way down, they come across the finish line, then they go all the way around again, so they cross under the finish line twice.
It's a Kentucky Derby
And
distance.
It's the Kentucky Derby distance, that's correct.
The first leg in the Horseman Helping Horseman Open Division was August 10th, again at a mile and an eighth. That had an 8-horse field. Actually, there was that was the first division. And here's Freddie's Dream just pulling away. He was up from California. Freddie's Dream won by 8 lengths. So he figures to be one of the favorites on Saturday at Emerald Downs. Kevin Krieger aboard. Kevin's second weekend in action, and he's of course started to pick up some pretty live mounts and has come through. He has 21 wins in 12 days so far.
That's very
at Emerald
impressive.
Down. Yeah,
and that winner was trained by our second all-time leading trainer, Tim McCanna. Legendary up here.
Old Timers Vision second, Deputies Command third, but Freddie's Dream dominated. So the marathon, that'll be exciting. You know, those mile and a quarter, as we said here, don't see them very often. And then there'll be in a mile and a half finale later to both marathon series. So let us, without further ado, we're going to take a break. And we'll be right back as we smoothly head toward a transition here on Emerald Downs Weekly. We'll think of more.
There's a profile coming up, isn't there?
We're going to argue about something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A profile?
Yeah, are we doing a profile on somebody?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know.
Trifecta King.
Yeah, big win, you know. Too bad I can't score on Saturday. Saturdays, when I got a win, you give away free dollar beers.
That's right, but we already have dollar beers on Saturday.
Oh, do we? The pressure's off, yo.
Right.
Yeah, but those are only in the park.
Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. We're going to get this whole show in. I mean, some of the segments are longer than others today, but we're still going to do it. Hey, you know, the trainer record at Emerald Downs, you could say it's in a little bit of jeopardy. Frank Lucarelli has 58 wins this year, and there's the record held jointly by Tim McCanna and Jeff Metz, 66 wins for a trainer at one meeting. Tim McCanna also had 63 wins twice, but Frank's got 12 days of racing to go here.
with a lot less of a racing season than a couple of those guys on there. So
absolutely, he's on pace to win at least one race every day, which would be unheard of.
If he gets to 67, that would be very impressive. If he breaks the record, that does it, an average of one per day. Good observation, Gary.
Frank
come up with
Lucarelli.
one once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm still debating eating that pizza.
No, you're in.
Am I in?
You're in. Guest pizza.
Sorry, Joe. We're digressed there for a second.
You've been thinking about pizza since we talked about that. Sorelli's Pizza, by the way.
Sorelli's.
That's this Sunday.
That probably put you over the top there, being a Sorelli.
Is he going to do it, Lucarelli? Yes? No?
I say yes.
I think so.
Yeah. 12 days.
I think there's enough races, and he's got a lot of live horses. He's going to have a lot in. So
he won just one last week, which put him a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the owner standings, and Frank Lucarelli's #1 owner this year is Chad Christensen. You can see his name down there at the bottom because he's leading with 21, again with 12 days to go. There's the record. Swag Stables holds it with 27 wins. Saratoga West, West Ridge Ranch, John Parker had a big year. Actually, John Parker's a 3-time defending owner champion. Ron Crockett had a couple of seasons of 21, and Howard Belvoir, trainer-owner, had a big year. But Chad Christensen needs just 6 to tie, 7 to win. He's probably going to start several horses here over the last 12 days.
He's still claiming them, so he'll have some shots at getting that record as well. Saratoga West, of course, Jeff Metz. And you could see Chad and Lucarelli this year making a great combination as well. So if one gets the record, if he gets the record, then Lucarelli will definitely get the record.
That's right.
Yes.
Swag Stables, Keith and Jan Swaggerty, and West Ridge Ranch, Larry and Veroline Hillis. Terry Gillihan did most of the training that year when they had that fantastic season. Well, the Washington Cup begins this Sunday, and again spread out over 3 Sundays, so we have great stakes action most of September. Gottstein Futurity on closing weekend as well. The Washington Cup sophomore colt and gelding race is at a mile, and it'll be this Sunday, $50,000. And the top name in there after the Muckleshoot Derby is my grandpa, who won that battle over a little less talk, the filly on the inside. And my grandpa really ran a heck of a race because he broke a little slowly. He rushed up, engaged a little less talk. They ran together for a long time, and then he pulled away late. And those are the Ron Crockett Silks for my grandpa,
And
trainer
there's
Tom
Ron.
Wenzel.
Yeah.
So he's the top name in there, and we know that might not be a huge field in there, but nonetheless, that horse is certainly an up-and-comer. He was 3rd in the Seattle Slew as well.
Yep, he just seems to be improving and cuts back to a mile distance. Should be right up his alley.
Yeah, he figures to be a pretty strong favorite. Now, he beat a little less talk in the Muckleshoot Derby as she elected to go there, trainer Rodina Barrett and owners, and she could have run in the Washington Oaks that day, but she ran on the Derby and ran a gallant second. She's also a stakes winner at the meeting. Let's watch a little less talk in action. She took the Kent Stakes over Mucho Amor, who was a very heavy favorite that day. And actually Mucho Amor, a heavy favorite in the Oaks as well. But a little less talk will not be denied in the Kent Stakes. And she's run against Killarney Glass twice and beat her both times, has a little less talk. She beat heavy favorite Mucho Amor there. She ran 2nd in the Derby. She's eligible for some end of the meeting honors, that filly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Washington Cup has kind of been a series where heavy favorites dominate for the most part.
There's been several.
And this year looks to be no exception.
And Wasserman has run in the most Washington Cup, 7. He ran every year 2005 to 2011. He won the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic twice. Mike Mann's Gold has run in 6 Washington Cups. He only missed 1 year. And whether he goes this year, remains to be seen. His race that he'd be eligible for isn't until Sunday the 15th.
Now, there is one little curveball sometimes that you'll see in the form when you're looking at these races, because this is open for Washington bred or sired, And also, except for the 2-year-old races, open to British Columbia bred and sired.
Okay.
And Washington bred and sired are eligible for the BC races as well. They're comparable races up there. So you could. Last year we saw somebody come in from BC and win one of the races, as a matter of fact.
Lasting Light nominated to the race this Sunday for the fillies. She has 2 sprint wins at the meeting, so that's a possibility right there, as you mentioned. Okay, how about some favorite Washington Cup races? Let's go back to 2005 for me. And Halinator was quite a story for Dan Markle. She was just fractious and nervous and flighty, but boy, did he get her on a roll. Here's the Belle Roberts, which was part of the Washington Cup that year, and she won again. I say again because that was her 8th win in a row at that meeting. It was the first ever stakes victory for the owners, Tim and Sue Spooner, who have had a tremendous career as owners. But Halinator was a great job by Dan Markle. That was Leslie Mowing aboard. She won her first start the next year to win 9 in a row here at Emerald Downs. Yeah.
Yep.
That was quite a run. And those 8 wins in 2005 were at 6 different distances as well.
Wow.
Gary?
Well, Joe, interesting. Same year, same day. His only ever appearance in Emerald Downs, Fast Parade, who was purchased here as a yearling for a whopping $4,500, won this race, the Captain Condo Stakes, on Walk-Up Day by 13 lengths, ridden by Fredo Miranda. And this horse went on to do some big things. He won stakes at Santa Anita, Del Mar, also won the Grade 2 Nearctic,
yeah.
in Woodbine. That's a turf race, Grade 2. This horse was 6 for 11 lifetime and made over $450,000. Not bad for a yearling you bought for $4,500 at the WTBO sale in December.
Last I looked, he still held the record at Del Mar for 5/8 on the turf.
Is that right?
When he won the Green Flash.
Green Flash, yeah.
You know what? Both those horses we just featured, both by Delineator.
Same sire.
Washington sire, who did leave us, but boy, he could sire a very fast horse. Phil, how about you?
Well, I'm going to go with another trend, another sloppy track, but I'm going back to 2011 when He's All Heart won the Classic for Victory Stables and Vic Cazzetti and his group. Not only winning for a bunch of just regular folks, as I say, that have these smaller shares of horses, but He's All Heart went on to run until, 9 or 10 years old?
Yeah.
And was a
10 or
staple
11,
out here for so many years, and this was kind of like his moment to win the big stakes race, to win the Tribal Classic, and a classic case of a horse overachieving and winning a big race, and very popular.
You know, back in the day, Victor would go from the 6th floor, run down the stairs, or maybe the elevator, and get to the winner's circle as his horse was coming in for the picture.
Yeah, he was a 5-year-old when he won that race that year, and he won his share of races in his career. He's All Heart.
Sure did.
Very popular horse.
And he dominated that Muckleshoot Tribal Classic that year as well. That was his career highlight for sure. Okay, we have more to talk about. Stat versus stat coming up, and Gary made a winning selection, hit the trifecta last week, and also the national race. He's reminded us about 8 times to put that on the show. So we'll do that when we return here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly. Thanks for joining us. And we do some predictions at times. Look into the future, try to. We looked at the Travers on last week's show as the Midsummer Derby run at Saratoga on Saturday. Really nice field. Phil, I think you went with the Bob Baffert speed horse in there, Mucho Gusto.
Yeah, ran
Third.
okay. But
And I took Highest Honors, but I later switched on race day to Endorse to, he was a live long shot. He finished 4th. He was really never in the race at 23-1. But Gary picked the winner. Let's hear from Larry Colmus on the Travers.
Endorsed is coming down the center. Owendale in Highest Honors too. They're into the final furlong. Code of Honor, Mucho Gusto, and Tacitus. Code of Honor has taken the lead, and Code of Honor and John Velasquez have won the Run Happy Travers.
Code of Honor pulled away, dominant. And Gary, you gave us that one last week.
Yeah, I was just rooting for Shug McGahee, who's now won the Travers 4 times, second most of any trainer in the 150 runnings. He also won the race with Cornelis Quest in 1998, the great Easy Goer in 1989, and also in 1990 with Rhythm. So Shugs won 4. Phil, he's one of your favorite trainers, isn't he?
Sure, definitely growing up in New York and following his career, and you are just Mr. Statman over here. You're prepping for Stat versus Stat.
Well,
Yes.
get right into it.
Okay, my stat is the amazing trainer, George Rosales. His stats this year, he's only been training for 2 years, and here is one of his winners earlier this season. This Great Nation winning an allowance race for $15,000. George Rosales, who was a one-time jockey here at Emerald Downs, has only been training for a couple of years. And Joe, look at his amazing stats in 2019. He has the highest win percentage of any trainer on the backside. He's 24 for 86 after going 7 for 47 in 2018. So neat to see a former jockey, his wife Elisa Kubanova, they work well together, and he's won 24 races this year. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a heck of a year. 28% wins is outstanding for George Rosales. Okay, I'm done saying good things about your stats, so let's go on to mine. And the Washington Cup is coming up. Here is Madame Pele coming up the inside to win the Washington Cup of 2015. She ran in it 4 times, had 3 wins. That same day, Striker PhD had won the mile in August, and here he is defeating Nusito, who gave him quite a battle, but Striker PhD won the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic. So those 2 horses are out of the same mare, Striking Scholar. Look at their record in the Washington Cup. Madame Pele, actually she won 3 out of 4 and had a second, so 4 starts, 3 wins and a second. Striker won all 3 of his appearances in the Washington Cup. So that damn Striking Scholar, 7 starters, 6 wins, and 1 second. Pretty nice work for those brother and sister. And they ran, of course, as you can see, in several together. And Striking Scholar was purchased at auction after that by Todd and Sean Hansen, and he has a 2-year-old. She has a 2-year-old by Uncle Mo in training, and a yearling by American Pharoah, that dam. But her Washington Cup record, pretty spectacular there with the 6 out of 7 in a second. So there's a couple of stats.
Wow.
Phil.
Wow, you got American Pharoah and Striker PhD in the same thing.
And Uncle Mo.
In the same thing, in the same stat, all of that.
He did.
That's impressive. Gary, even you have to admit he beat you today.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He threw a lot of names into that stat.
Now that
Name
damn,
dropping.
There was a lot of name dropping in there.
You've done well when you put Chinook Pass in.
yeah.
Any stat with Striker PhD's probably going
Maybe
to
I'll
win.
name drop Phil. That might work, huh, Joe?
Yeah, that's worth
Phil Z.
Okay, so
Joe
Longacres Mile theme this year at Emerald Downs. Well, every year. But we did a video presentation and a program story following the mile on one of the former winners. Let's go to that right now. Just twice in track history has a British Columbia bred runner been named Emerald Downs Horse of the Meeting. Kid Katabatic in 1997 and 2013 Longacres Mile champion Herbie D. Owned by Darcia Doman and breeder George Robbins, Herbie D was named after Doman's father and Robbins' friend, Herb Doman. Trainer Rob Gilker fought physical issues with the high-spirited runner, and Herbie D didn't make his winning career debut until age 3 in 2011.
Boy, we were so happy with the guy. He overcame injuries to get to where he was, and he made us so proud. He was either going to be really good or really bad because he was really tough for the riders to be on.
Gilker had the mile in mind for Herbie D in 2012, but couldn't keep a regular training schedule going that year. Even so, the horse's ability was on display at Hastings, going 3 for 3 that summer.
The Derby Bar and Grill Express goes to Herbie D. He wins it by 2.5.
After 2 stakes wins at Hastings in 2013, Gilker was again thinking Longacres Mile. His first start away from home was the Mount Rainier Handicap, and Herbie D was the best horse, winning easily on the lead. 4 weeks later, Herbie D was the 2-1 second betting favorite among 12 runners for the 78th Longacres Mile. He entered the race with 9 wins from just 12 career starts. Confidence was high on mile day.
Oh, I sat and got my shoes shined while we were on post parade. Yeah, I was pretty prepped for him.
It was Herbie D's mile in 2013.
A long way home for Herbie D. Herbie D 2 or 3 in front. Golden it is flying with Striker PhD, but they're not catching Herbie D. Herbie D's mile.
Herbie D dominated the race with jockey Amadeo Perez. Owner Robbins watched from the crowd near the 16th pole, shown here in this Reed Palmer photograph. Runner-up Striker PhD would go on to win his next 8 consecutive starts at Emerald Downs, all stakes, including back-to-back Longacres miles. Herbie D was voted Emerald Downs Horse of the Meeting for 2013 and later named BC Horse of the Year. Today, Herbie D is enjoying retirement at George Robbins' daughter's farm in Cobble Hill on Vancouver Island. He has a goat friend and his best buddy, the mule Pedro.
He looks like he could go back into training right now, hanging out in Cobble Hill on the farm where George has his daughter's farm there, and he's hanging out with a donkey. He has a good friend. He's happy as hell.
Emerald Downs Weekly, and we did the stat versus stat. Phil actually believed my stat this week, other than doubting me last week. But
I believed you last week.
Well, not really. You thought I was just throwing stuff at it, but
well.
Okay. Hey, the Washington Cup starts this weekend. It also continues September 8th and September 15th, and on September 15th, the 2019 class of the Washington Hall of Fame to be recognized, inducted, and we know who those inductees
This is it. This is the big
Yeah,
announcement.
This is it.
This is it. Drum roll, Gary.
You want an envelope?
I
don't have an envelope.
Well,
For the
we'll
first
show
time.
it right there on the screen. The filly
Okay.
and mare inductee is Snowplow, who was the first Washington-bred Grade 1 winner. She won 2 Grade 1s as a 2-year-old way back then in the early 80s. The breeder, how about Terry and Mary Lou Griffin of Griffin Place? They've meant so much to this thoroughbred community over the past, into the 70s. Their farm is right next to the Blue Ribbon Farm in Buckley of Rick and Debbie Paps. So some just sensational production from that area of Western Washington. Congratulations to the Griffins. The trainer is Ruth Parton, who was a fantastic horsewoman way back in the 30s and 40s.
Wow.
She won a training title at Longacres back when it was a male-dominated sport for sure.
Wasn't she the first woman to get a license to be a trainer?
In Washington.
In Washington.
I believe she was.
Yep.
That's part of the her copy, yeah. And then the special inductee is a guy that goes way back even farther. And Phil, you've done your fair share of
Drum
research
roll,
on
please.
Aaron Van de Vander.
Aaron T. Van de Vanter, who you could say was the original founder of major racing in Western Washington from the Meadows Racetrack, which is now the site of Boeing Field. And there was big-time racing there from 1902 to 1908, I believe.
Yeah.
And then 1909, they passed a law, and he passed away, and things changed. But from that, there's more to the story about how Longacres came out of origins back to the Meadows. And he was also the founder of the city of Kent and the city's first mayor. And
Washington legislature, remember that?
And on the
fair board.
Fair board that conducted the racing. He had a house at the Meadows, and they got crowds of like 10,000 people sometimes for horse racing back in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
So
site of current-day Boeing Field, the Meadows, in the early 1900s. Aaron T. Van de Vander, the man, the biggest man behind that.
Yeah.
And you found some of his relatives who will be here. Yeah.
They came out earlier this year for the Kent Stakes Day. And we'll have some information on him. So this weekend, once again at Emerald Downs, Fab Friday, 6:30 Friday night, Saturday, party in the park after racing, or during racing.
During
what am I
racing,
talking about?
$1 beers. Make sure you have a few. Only in the park, $1 beers. And then that night, in the upstairs by the casino on the 5th floor, we'll have a tribute to Sheryl Crow. That should be a lot of fun.
That's after racing.
After racing,
Yes.
Saturday night. Come out, watch some racing, and head upstairs to watch some Sheryl Crow tribute. And then Sunday, it's the Italian Day. Tony LaStella and the Goombas will be back for another year. We'll have some Italian dancers in the winter circle. Bocce ball.
You eating pizza.
Pizza eating contest. That should be wow.
Prize drawings.
Prize drawings.
Yep.
You can
Prizes for
win
that.
a free dinner at different Italian restaurants in the South End.
Weather's supposed to be nice. It's a great day. Italian Day is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, indeed. Italian Day this Sunday at Emerald Downs as we'll go to September 1st. The Washington Cup begins as well, and Frank Lucarelli, Chad Christensen continue their drive toward records here at Emerald Downs. Okay, hey, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you at the track, and you can watch Gary eat pizza on Sunday if that's what you want to do.
Yes, he volunteered.
This has been Emerald Downs Weekly on NBC Sports Northwest.
A whole
See
segment next week of just Gary eating pizza.
I'm wearing red. Can I order my own pizza?
Tune in next week, folks. You won't want to miss it.